All right, guys. Let's get to the guy that Rob and I have been big fans of all year long. And I got to say that I'm extremely disappointed the way he was handled this year. Extremely.
Yes.
Now, am I going to call it one of the biggest blunders of Joe Shane and Dable's year? No, they have too many blunders to put this too high up on the list, guys. It's
This
like
is an honorable mention.
yeah. And that's Turbo Miller. Dante Turbo Miller, guys. I mean, I understand the guy was raw. He hadn't played college football the entire year before the draft. So he only played in 6 games the year before that. So I get it. You want to sit him in the practice squad. You want to give him a chance to kind of get back to game speed, get used to playing football. Though I will say he did practice still with South Carolina the year before. So it wasn't like
I was going to say.
Yeah, it wasn't like he didn't do anything, but
and he wasn't able to go to draft day and do all the draft day sports, just kind of like Rudolph. But he still would have been like one of the fastest at the 40.
He would have been basically the top running back in almost every single category last year in the draft, based on what he did his pro day compared to what people did during their combine. I mean, pro days are a little skewed. People find little ways to enhance their numbers a little bit. So who knows what he would have done at the combine. But in the season, 2 games, just 1 offensive snap, just 7 special team snaps for 1 touchdown. One of the biggest issues I have with the way some of the season went is what we did on Sunday against the Eagles. When the game didn't matter, we can get into other games that didn't matter. Colts, but we can get other games. But I'm just saying, the last game of the goddamn year, they called Turbo Miller up to the active roster. And I'm thinking in my head, okay, good. They're going to do the right thing. They're going to give Turbo a chance to get some snaps. They're going to give guys like
the whole morning
some snaps. And then he's not even active for game day.
I was sitting there, as soon as I saw him elevated, it's Turbo time. It's Turbo time. Like, finally, after 18 weeks of talking about this, 3 weeks of preseason, I could say it's Turbo time.
But now instead, we're talking about a guy we still don't know what we have in him. All we've seen him is some practice, some preseason stuff there, playing against other guys that basically ended up on practice squads around the league. And I would have liked to see, even though, again, it's been backups for the Eagles, obviously, but I would have liked to see him play these backups and see what he could have done. Because if he looked bad, it just says that me and Rob were wrong, and he's nothing special at all, and he's got to go, and it's time to move on from this project potentially. Or we just simmer our expectations to give him another year and see what he does.
Yeah, but, I mean, you could also be like, here's a guy that hasn't played college in a year. He hasn't played football in a year. He's just practice.
Basically 2 years. He played 6 games and like a total like 20 snaps the year before.
Yeah, trying to be able to play this past year to be drafted. So why wouldn't you give him the opportunity to see if he still has it against NFL caliber players that aren't starters?
Yeah.
That's kind of a cushiony way to see if you're able to play in the NFL.
And not to mention the fact that you literally had your starting running back been fighting injuries. Like, you're basically risking a bigger injury for Tyrone Tracy Jr. and refusing to give Turbo a chance. Like I said, I'm not sitting there saying Turbo's going to be amazing. All I'm saying is you got him into the building. You brought him into the building. Why not give him a shot and see what he can do? You have nothing to lose at this point. Unless he goes off and you lose your draft pick, but that's a whole separate issue. You can just bench him again. But
yeah, he goes off for an
sit down
with a touchdown. You're like,
but
get there.
I don't understand it. I don't get it. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. I'm just hoping that he gets a chance this year coming up in the draft. There's nothing we're missing by not being able to go to some of the practices and hear that kind of stuff. And that it's not he just looks bad, because everybody I talked to that went to the actual training camps and open practices and all said he looked good. He looked good in preseason. Again, Eric Ray looked good that one preseason game too. So I'm holding that with a certain, lack of validity to a certain degree there potentially because of that. But again, he deserved a shot.
Yeah.
Just give him a chance. Let him run the ball. See what happens. Because now instead, again, you're going to go in next year with Tyrone Tracy Jr., who's going to be your legit running back in this league. Devin Singletary, who you probably want to move on from, Eric Gray, that you should want to move on from, and now Turbo Miller, that you have no clue what you have in him, and maybe another guy you draft. The room doesn't look as good as if you can go, hey, Turbo Miller, good. He's a guy that we can bring into bottom level kind of guy and to see what he develops into. We have no clue now. And what do we gain out of it? Absolutely nothing.
Niente.
Absolutely nothing. It's like war. What is it good for?
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, waste of time. That's all that is.
If you like that clip, then you will love the full episodes too. Find us on your favorite podcast app and look for us on all your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.